is a story time about how my mom almost killed my cat. My mom and my grandpa picked me up from the airport. No one tells me anything. I go upstairs, I see him in the bathroom, he's laying in the sink. His mouth wasn't closing. Like his jaw was... Oh my god. Mom, what's wrong with Chai? He looked bad, you guys. And she's like, he just really missed you. Hello, 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 and like no one's saying anything. Quiet, people are sleeping. No one in this house deserves to sleep. Everyone knew. No one cared enough to like give me a call. My dad didn't come out once. Everyone knew that my cat was looking like this for 2 days. My sister and her husband included in that. It's about like knowing that there's an animal that needs help and making sure that it's okay, because like animals can't help themselves, and like why wouldn't you? I said to everybody that I just want you guys to know that I feel betrayed by every single one of you. This is just such a clear-cut example of like their absent-mindedness or the ways that they neglect. I have a savings account just for emergencies with my pets, and why didn't you call me? Why didn't I know about this? Why didn't you tell me when I got off the plane? Reasoning was like she didn't want me to be anxious. If that was the case, then take him to the vet. Let's take him to the vet. What are we doing? Like, I wanted to take him with you like tomorrow. As a mother, like, I am not sleeping until this is worked out. I just got off of an 8-hour flight and we're going to the vet right now. Not only left him like that for 2 days and didn't take him into a vet or call me to let me know that something has happened, his hair get matted, and they're like, okay, it's gonna be $1,300. I was like, great, take him. And I looked at my mom and I was like, do you have $1,300 or I'll sell him every day to keep this one? Like, don't say that. Like, I was like, no, I mean it. Like, I mean it. Like, I mean it. Like, I mean it. Like, do you want me to go outside? Because I'll figure it out. But luckily I have my savings, and like it was just to make a point of how extreme there's no excuse to leave an animal like that for 2 days and not get help. So not that I really had that much trust in them, but I had like some faith of humanity in them, and it's just lost. On top of that, the accountability isn't even there. I was having a hard time filming this video. Hi guys, my name is Adriana Nava, and today I am filming a video that I've kind of been dreading. So this is a story time about how my mom almost killed my cat while I was gone. You guys know that like I went on that trip after I found out that my ex had put a tracker in my car. I made all those videos and vlogs kind of moving on and like going somewhere worth tracking one, and not just staying at home and being like sad about everything. And so I did that, and it did help me heal, and I'm forever grateful for that trip and for Bowie. While I was gone, I asked my mom to watch my cat, Chai. He is 6 years old. He's like the love of my life. I had asked her to watch him and she said okay. Even before the East Coast trips, I was filming clips for like a spoiling my cat day kind of thing, and I bought him a catio and we built it, and I was like kind of vlogging that process, and then just like grooming him and like just spoiling Chai for a day, or like I don't know, it ended up being like clips throughout the weeks. But we just got a catio and he loves it, and he loves being outside, and I'm so happy that he can do that, right? So there's a border, I'll show you guys. Like, it's blocking the down from the upstairs so that the dog doesn't come upstairs, right? Right now Chai's in the catio, and Nina gets to be upstairs while he's outside, so it kind of works out for both of them. If you guys watch the vlogs, I was like kind of debating staying 2 extra days, and then I ended up staying the 2 extra days, right? And I called my mom to make sure that everything was going good with the animals. She said yes to stay the extra 2 days, right? I knew that my grandpa was actually going to be in town when I landed, and we were gonna have the weekend together. And my mom and my grandpa picked me up from the airport. On the car ride home, I was saying hi to my grandpa, and I was catching up, and I was telling them about the trip, and no one stopped me to say that anything was wrong. And another thing that bothers me about this situation is like, obviously I deserved a warning. When we have like guests over and family over, obviously you want to like update them on how you're doing, and so I was excited to see my grandpa. And it seems like it's a pattern in my family where like situations that happen where I mean I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out in front of my family, or like my family will trigger me in front of my family, or like whatever, to make me look like the mess. Like, this is one of those times, and mind you, I also have like all the panic disorders that you could have, and like I disassociate. So like in that moment I was disassociating really hard. I felt like I was in a dream. I felt like I wasn't real, and I hate that they put me in a situation where that happened. Walking into that and everyone being like, you know that meme that's like, why is everybody being weird right now? And everyone's like, we're not. And then you're like, no, but you are. I'm just gonna tell the story, and if you relate in any kind of way of like kind of just absent-minded parents or family, this is for you. We get inside. No one in the house helped, mind you. Everyone knew. No one minded to give me, no one cared enough to like give me a call. I go upstairs. I kind of felt weird because Chai wasn't upstairs by the gate like meowing for me, so I was like, I go upstairs. I see him in the bathroom. He's laying in the sink. And I've never, he looks bad. Like, he looked skinny. He looked, his mouth wasn't closing. Like, his jaw was, oh my God. Trying really hard not to cry. This happened right after I got off my trip, so probably like 2 months ago at this point, and I'm still just so upset. His mouth wasn't closing. He looked like he was dying. Chai was completely healthy when I left. He also had like this brown, slimy, like throw up-ish like stuff all over his fur. All over his fur in the front, right? Like he had been just like throwing up or something, and no one had been cleaning it. I don't really know, okay? Like, I'm walking through the situation as I found out. His tail hair was cut off. Apparently he had thrown up in his tail and they didn't clean it. They didn't clean it, but they cut off part of his hair, and he just looked, honestly, I've never seen an animal look like that before, and so that was already like a really shocking thing. But like, then it's like my animal, and I'm just like sitting there with a lot of confusion, and no one even rushed up the stairs to like warn me or like tell me that something had gone on. I looked at Chai and I just was like, Ma, like calling her from downstairs. I was like, Ma, what's wrong with Chai? What's wrong with Chai? What happened to Chai? And then I hear her like coming upstairs like, hold on, like I'm coming, like whatever. And she's like, oh, he just really missed you. I don't want to be so loud and like yelling in front of Chai because he was clearly already sick and I didn't want to scare him. It was just like, tell me what happened right now. She just kept saying that he missed me. And it felt like, the whole thing felt like a nightmare. Like, just like a nightmare where like, you know, when you're dreaming and you can't talk, or like people just aren't making sense, and like you're like, hello, 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 and like no one's saying anything. I start getting louder and angrier because what do you mean he just missed me? It's just not true. I've been gone, he's been fine. Like, yes, he misses me, but he'll like take a shit on my bed or something. He'll like go outside of the litter box when he's mad at me, or like he misses me. You know what I mean? Like, he'll sleep in my clothes, like he'll whine, but his jaw doesn't dislocate and projectile vomiting like brown goo. And then she's like, I don't really know. He like made it downstairs somehow, was like eating Nina's food, and then Nina came and scared him, but Nina didn't touch him. I came up to Chai and scared him back upstairs. The story has kind of like been a little bit all over the place. I've heard like maybe he hit a wall running up the stairs, maybe not. I was like, excuse, like what? Okay, one, it should have been impossible for Chai to get downstairs without supervision. That's already neglectful. Okay, we've had it there for 6 years and nothing has happened like that. Okay, so something must have happened where she just left it open, and like, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with you guys? Like, what? Why didn't no one tell me? Like, I'm so upset. And quiet, people are sleeping, and I was like, no one in this house deserves to sleep. Everyone should be on it. Everyone should be up and explaining. Everyone knew that my cat was looking like this for 2 days. it makes me think that, like, one, no one's sensible in the house. Two, like, I can't trust anybody. Three, you all have no humanity. And, like, I hate saying that about my family. But what do you call that? There's no excuse. There is no excuse to leave an animal like that for 2 days and not get help. So I'm like yelling, and she's just like, people are sleeping. And I was like, I don't care. Like, people should not be sleeping right now. And she's like, oh, I know you don't care. You don't care about anyone but yourself. And just saying comments like that are making me like just feel like nightmare fuel. Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying? I start yelling at my mom, like, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call me? Why didn't I know about this? Why didn't you tell me when I got off the plane? Like, you know, her reasoning was like she didn't want me to be anxious. Like, she just didn't want me to like worry about it. If that was the case, then take him to the vet. He had been like that for 2 days. He had been like that for 2 days, you guys. Just like that. Well, let's take him to the vet. What are we doing? Like, what? Like, have you taken him to the vet? Like, what is this? And she was like, no, I wanted to take him with you, like, tomorrow. I was like, as a mother, I can't sleep until I know that what's happening with him. And is he okay? He looked bad, you guys. Like, I have a savings account just for emergencies with my pets. And my parents know how badly the death of the animals have affected me and how much I love my animals. So just knowing that, like, my cat was sitting there like that, and no one in the house helped, mind you. Everyone knew. No one minded to give me, no one cared enough to like give me a call. Regardless, if they would have called me, I would have made sure that he got to the vet. I would have called my friends to take him to the vet, you know. I have a savings for that, like specifically for that. They should have taken him to the vet, and they didn't. My mom was like, I'm gonna go with you tomorrow, and I was like, I am not sleeping until this is worked out. I just got off of an 8-hour flight and we're going to the vet right now. We take him to the vet, and they're all confused too. Like, they don't really know what happened. My mom is very like, well, I think that like maybe he got to the dog food and like, and I'm just like, and it took me a while too, because I was just sitting there like, who left the gate open? Like, who did that? Like, who did that? Like, they need to like fess up to this, like whatever. And she's just sitting there like, and then she's like, well, I mean, I think it was me, because like, you know, I mean, it was. And then they come in and they tell us that he has a piece of dog food stuck in his jaw. Right? So what must have happened is he got downstairs, was eating the dog food, or trying to eat the dog food. The dog scared him. He ran upstairs, hit his face on the wall or something, is my best guess. And he half choked, right? Like, it's stuck in his throat. Meaning he could not drink water or eat anything. Nothing was passing through. That's what the brown goo was. He was so dehydrated. He was malnourished. Everything. On top of him having dog food stuck in his throat and like could have possibly choked at any time, his jaw was messed up. He could close it, but he wasn't. They said it was gonna be $1,300 to like have x-rays done and to like do whatever they needed to do to like get the dog food out, hopefully fix his jaw, right? She wasn't sure if it was dislocated or not. She said it wasn't at the end, I believe. It could have been from the inflammation. It could have whatever. His jaw wasn't jawing, right? They were like, okay, it's gonna be $1,300. I was like, great, take him. And I looked at my mom and I was like, do you have $1,300 or do you need me to go home? She was just like, let me text your dad, like da-da-da. I'm like upset at everybody. Like, my dad didn't come out once into my room when I came home. He like pretended to be asleep because I know I was screaming loud, like everyone should have been up, you know? And he didn't come to like say hi, that I was back from my trip, or like to explain what happened or whatever. And my family is all people that like push things under a rug, and I can't do that. I can't do that. I cannot be in a situation like this and then wake up the next morning and just like be like, do you want to go to Starbucks? Like, I can't. It's just so disgenuine. It's gross. Every time that they try to do that, it feels wrong. It feels like I'm living in like a Coraline type thing, like other mother, like my mom does switch like that, so it's kind of hard to keep track of like whatever. When I first filmed this, I was like, because I'll sell every day to keep this one. And my mom was like, don't say that, like, I was like, no, I mean it, like, I mean it, like, I mean it, like, I mean it, like, do you want me to go outside? Because I'll figure it out. But luckily I had my savings, and like, it was just to make a point of how extreme, but we did have the money. Besides me, like, because I was on my trip, there are 4 other working adults in this house. My sister and her husband included in that. Knowing that everyone knew, so disappointed, but also not disappointed because I know that they're not like, I didn't know how bad it was. Like, I didn't know how like inhumane they could be. This has brought up thoughts for me of like, I know my sister and I are not close. My sister, the last time we were kind of close, or she wanted to be close, was before her wedding, and I did do her lashes and her brows and her makeup and everything to make sure that she was ready. Haven't really heard from her since. So yeah, I only really ever hear from her, and she's very convincing on how she wants me to be a part of her life, and I have fallen for it every time. She always, you know, shares things with me and then like tells me why things were just like weird and like she was distant because of this and this and this and whatever, but I don't know her that well, honestly. Like, the person that I know her to be, so two-faced and like explosive. Yeah, the last time I really heard from her or wanted to have anything to do with me or an interest in my life was definitely right before her wedding. And it went blank again. Like, we never had a relationship growing up. I would call it Anna and Elsa type stuff. Like, I was very confused growing up as to why she wouldn't hang out with me or like want to talk or anything. I know that she was going through her own like stuff, and she's apologized for our childhood about it. Like, she's come into like waves, right? She's probably apologized to me and tried to make amends like 4 times in our adult life, and it's been like, oh, I miss you, like, I just want a sister. Like, they work at the hospital, like, they're like, I just want a sister, I see like sisters all the time and how nice they are to each other and da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, sure, dude, like, I've always like tried to hang out. She has admitted to me like that it was her pushing me away. She didn't want anything to do with me when I was younger because of her own issues, right? But I do remember her getting a cat a long time ago named Callie. I named her because she brought home a black cat, and she was so proud of herself for adopting a black cat because she was saying that black cats don't get adopted as much, right? So she came home with a black cat, and I picked it up and I realized that it was covered in fleas, like infested with fleas. And fine, like, she got it off of Craigslist, I think, like, you know, it was from a house. Like, okay, like, it came with fleas, that's fine. But as soon as she realized that it came with fleas, she didn't want her anymore. And I remember being like, that's messed up. Like, that's so messed up. And so me and my friend BB, we washed her, we defleed her, we like combed through it, like, it took hours. We found out that she was actually a calico. Like, she actually has a lot of color to her, and you didn't see any of that color because she was covered in dry blood. I remember that story so vividly, and it's just been coming up into my mind a lot of like, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised about like who was in my house. I know we don't have the strongest relationship, but if something happened to her cat and she was away, I would have taken it to the vet. I would have paid for it, because it's not about me and my sister. It's about like me knowing that there's an animal that needs help and making sure that it's okay, because like animals can't help themselves, and like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I gave my mom the $1,300 and she gave me back half of it, and she, I don't know, figured it out or whatever. Chai Chai's okay. We had to syringe feed him for 6 to 8 weeks. And it was just traumatizing. The whole thing was traumatizing. No one's even been talking to me since that's happened. Last time that we were all together and whatever was I gave them their presents that I got for all of them. I got a bunch of presents from the East Coast to give to them. I bought them for them, so like I wanted them to have it. And I gave them their presents, and then we went to dinner with my grandpa. we were at dinner and I said to everybody that I was like, I just want you guys to know that I feel betrayed by every single one of you. And my mom was the only one that said something. I think like, okay, like let's just have dinner, like whatever. And no one else said anything. I haven't heard my sister or her husband talk about what happened to me. I just know that they know that he was like that for 2 days, as well as my father. I did ask my dad while I was syringe feeding Shy one time. It's just hard for me to talk about. Like, I just don't want to be angry all the time, and I don't want to be crying all the time, but I just am confused and I'm hurt. And like, I saw him coming home from work one day and I was just like, Bobby, why didn't you take him to the vet? And he told me like, oh, like I didn't know it was that bad. Needless to say, this changed the course of a lot for me. I've had to accept that I can't rely on them for a lot, right? But like, this is a little bit disturbing, this whole situation. And I definitely don't feel comfortable. Not that I really had that much trust in them, but I had like some faith of humanity in them. And it's just lost. On top of that, the accountability isn't even there. I was having a hard time filming this video. I've been crying for like the past few days. My parents ended up going on a trip to Mexico for Day of the Dead, right? And I kind of held my breath on this because I get really anxious about them traveling together. You know, I just like worry for my parents and I want them to be okay and I want them to like return home. I'm sure they feel the same way about, or I don't know, but I would feel the same way if like I had a kid and they went on a trip. I'd be like holding my breath, I guess, just like praying that everything was gonna be okay. And I was at home alone watching the animals, both of them. My mom came into my room before she left. I was trying to give her the example of like, you know, I'm obviously going to take care of my animals, but imagine you come home and Nina's jaw is just like out of place. And then you were like frantic, like, why didn't you tell me? Like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? Like, she's like looking like she's dying. And like, my response to you is that she misses you or she just missed you. How would you feel? My mom's response was, well, I did think that he missed you and that was a big part of it. I just buried my head in the pillow and she's like, we don't have to talk about it though. And I was like, no, you're so right. Like, I understand. Like, we don't have to talk about it anymore. I mean, the thing that helps me process is creating and like whatever, making videos, whatever I can do to process in a creative way. Is like, you know, I think I'm just gonna make a video, story time about it, and then maybe one day someone will comment on your Facebook or something and word this to you in a way that you will accept. Or when I told her that, she was just like, okay, like, yeah, that works. Like, okay. Like, I don't wish harm or like hate comments for my parents or anything or my family, but I would love to see the day where there was accountability taken. Like, the next videos will be funner and like more lighthearted. I also wanted to share this in a vlog because I think it's a very good example of how my family is and what I mean by like they love me in the ways that they can. I've talked to friends and my therapist about it and they, you know, they validated this story for me. I'm glad that they did because a lot of the times my family can make me feel absolutely crazy. And like, I think it's really important to take a step back sometimes and like see like, oh, I'm not crazy, I just am uncomfortable living in your dysfunction and you don't like that. How am I doing now? Chai's okay. Chai's good. He just like, he's doing better. He just has a drooling problem now. I don't know what happened to his chin. He like will try to kiss me or like lick me and like he definitely drools now, which is odd. But it's been about 2 months and he's great. He's back to normal. His hair has grown back. It has just been hard still like living here and like, I don't know. It's hard to not be angry when there's no accountability from anybody. It's hard to feel comfortable living so close, I think, and it's devastating to say that because it's like that's all I've wanted is for my family to be like close knitted forever and like whatever. Majority of my life I have been in therapy and it's interesting now looking back at my family wanted to send me to therapy at a young age. Obviously I was like 12 and whatever. I just think it's interesting that it seems to be like families sometimes push the youngest to therapy and like, you need help girl, like whatever. Like this has happened with me, and I have a lot of friends with a similar story of like, they only send the youngest to therapy. They're not like responding well in this environment, but they don't seem to pick up or realize that I am a product of being raised by that household, you know? My parents, they didn't seek help, you know, like my dad, he doesn't do therapy, my mom doesn't really do therapy, like, but I've been in it. My therapist had to work with me for years about getting me to realize that I was in therapy for myself. When I started, I think I was really convinced that if I got the tools that I would be able to help my family, like, change, like everyone change and like everyone work well together. That's not how therapy really ends up working. And it took me years to realize that. But when I first joined, I really just wanted my family to be a unit, and I wanted them to be like able to work together, and I wanted us to be like happy and be able to communicate and like have a happy life, right? In Mexican culture, I feel like it's more common to like stay in the household and just have like a generational house, or like, you know, only move out if like you get married and they move you out, you know. But even if, like, I've always had it in my head that I wanted to live with or around my family forever. Like why wouldn't we live together, you know? Because like in my head it's like my dad, he works so hard so that we could have a nice life, but like why would I want to move away from him if like we have the time to spend together? I want to spend it together, right? And I've learned and accepted that my family loves me, and they do love me, and I love them so much. You know, they love me in the ways that they can, and they're not willing to do much else. So I accept the ways that they can. I have a savings account just for emergencies with my pets. I have like trauma from my chihuahua getting hurt, and we took him to the vet, and like, yes, they said that he was scrambled eggs inside by that point. That's a whole nother story time, but like they said that they could try surgery, and my parents were like, didn't want to put the money down for it because they used that description and was like, life would just be different for him and like whatever. So they had to put him down. My animals dying has always been an exceptionally hard thing for me to cope with. I've always been like that. Our first pets were like a German Shepherd named Mickey Mouse and a tabby cat named Tiggerlove. I grew up with Mickey since I was 3 years old, and that's why 2003 is my favorite year, because I feel like that's when my life started. I remember getting him. Like, I remember everything. And like, I loved him so much, and he was the best dog ever. But like, I remember thinking throughout my life, like, I just could not see myself living a day without him. Like, that was always my biggest fear growing up, is like losing my dog and like something happening to him, or like when he passes. And when he eventually did, I was 18. It was 9/11 weekend, so like, never forget. That was a hard time for all of us. Everyone was going through something. And like, I knew no one was gonna like deal with me and like the death of my dog, right? My mom had lost her mom, and like, my mom used to be my best friend, but after that happened, like, things changed radically in her behavior and her personality and the way she views me. I think that I was like, for some reason, a trigger for her. I wasn't living at home at the time for the most part, so like 16 to 18, 19ish, I was living with my friend, and we were enabling but like helping each other, you know, as best as we could at like those ages. And I remember when Mickey passed, I was already misusing anxiety medicine to like feel better at the time. I wasn't going to school, I was like, you know, whatever. But after my dog passed, I got really bad. I feel like that's when my addiction like really took in full force. I did not want to, I don't know, I just felt like he was like he was a lifeline for me in a bunch of ways, and like that might sound ridiculous, but whatever. When Mickey passed, my addiction got really bad. 2020 is when I lost my Chihuahua, and that's like the last day that I misused anxiety medicine. That's a whole nother story time though. So much happened in that. But my point in this is like, my parents know how badly the death of the animals have affected me and how much I love my animals. The disturbing part is that my dad and I have always been animal people. Like, we've picked up strays, we've taken care of so many animals on the street and brought them home and like done that whole thing. He's always been like, that's been our thing. So just knowing that like my cat was sitting there like that, and no one in the house helped, mind you, everyone knew. It breaks my heart when I hear like that, like green flags, it's like being family oriented. I think I'm family oriented with the family that I've chosen, and like, you know, my friends and stuff. Like, I'm very all in with them and like a part of their lives, and I'd like to call myself like, I know I'm family oriented. I just need a family to do that with, you know. I wish it was mine. I just wish it was mine 100 times, because I do love them. I do feel like things are just so pushed under a rug and no one wants to talk about it. It makes me sad when people like don't think that I'm close with my family because like I'm a bad egg or something. That's not true. I think the rest of my family is just really good at pushing things under a rug and moving on, and I am not, especially when there's no accountability. It's just really hard for me to do, and it's something that I don't even want to do. I don't think that that's how I really want to live life. I want to be genuine with the people around me, and I want to like have real connections and whatever. But I do think that this is a good example of how my family's a little bit off. I mean, like I said, this goes so much deeper, and there's so much like other things with my family that whatever, but this is just such a clear-cut example of like their absent-mindedness or like their lack of consideration or care, or the ways that they neglect. Yeah, wish I was closer with my family, wish I could be closer with my family, but unfortunately I'm already paying high rent and like my mental health to be here, and I think spending more time with them would only raise the price of that. He's good. He's healthy. He wants to run around and play, so he's gonna go do that. I don't have a good reason on why my family decided to let him live like that for 2 days. I mean, me dissecting it in therapy for the past 2 months, literally. Since I've been home from the trip, it's been 2 months, and I've asked a couple of times to hang out and whatever, and there's never any time or whatever. And the only time she really asked me to hang out was to do her lashes before her trip. And I did them because I'll take it. I don't know. I hate this story. I hope you don't relate to this, but if you do, know that you're not alone. Anyways, my camera's about to die, so I'm gonna end this. That's the story time of how my mom almost killed my cat and my family left him to die. I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully less emotional. And yeah, I love you guys. Bye.